The Los Angeles Unified School District and members of the Workers Union have reached another step in their agreement after a multi-day strike last month. About 30,000 members of the union will cast ballots from now until Friday. The results of the vote, which is expected to pass, will be announced on Saturday. Both sides agreed to a 30% pay raise for the workers following a 3-day strike last month that shuttered LAUSD schools. The union represents the district's bus drivers, cafeteria workers, custodians, and teachers' assistants. As gun violence continues to plague the nation, California Attorney General Rob Bonta says the state is taking action to ensure guns are kept away from people who are prohibited from owning them. Our Capitol correspondent Eitan Wallace reports.
Well, just take a look at all of these guns. These are just a handful of the more than 1,000 the Department of Justice has seized from Californians who the Attorney General says should never have had these weapons in the first place. Gun after gun after gun. These make up a tiny portion of the 1,437 firearms the state seized in 2022 from Californians prohibited from owning them. Among the items seized, 281,999 rounds of ammunition, 712 handguns, 360 rifles, 194 shotguns, 80 of what the state describes as assault rifles, and 54 ghost guns, as in unregistered guns that can be assembled at home.
Getting guns off our streets and out of the hands of dangerous individuals.
That's what Attorney General Rob Bonta says is the goal here, specifically the goal of California's Armed and Prohibited Persons System program, also known as APPS. It takes data of all the legal gun purchases and 3+ million legal gun owners in the state and cross-references it with a list of the more than 23,000 Californians who are prohibited from owning a gun, most of the time either because they were convicted of a violent felony or misdemeanor, were placed under a domestic violence or other type of restraining order, or because they experienced severe mental illness. If they're found with a gun or deemed to have bought one before they ended up on the list, the state will come and take it away.
It is illegal for them to have a gun. So for any legal gun owner who has their gun legally, who is not prohibited, who is following the laws of the state of California, this doesn't apply to you. And except for it keeps you safer, because it keeps guns out of the hands who shouldn't have it and allows responsible, law-abiding gun owners like you to continue to own them and possess them.
As for Republicans in the legislature, they acknowledge the state has ramped up investigations to confiscate guns from people banned from owning them. But Assembly Minority Leader James Gallagher points out the state still has a backlog of some 9,000 plus people who need to be investigated, saying, quote, nearly 9,300 prohibited gun owners waiting to be investigated is still far too many. Reducing the backlog of armed felons, domestic abusers, and the mentally ill should be the priority.
We're not taking our foot off the gas. While this report is a success story, there are still guns in the wrong hands. That means there's more work to do.
And Bonta says his team continues to go through the prohibited gun owner list every day, something he's hopeful will lead to more progress in the year to come. Reporting at the state capitol, Eitan Wallace, 17 News.
Still has